Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah, Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tammil khayr, wa bika nasta'in ya fatah, Rabbi shrah sadri wa yassir li amri, wa ahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Before we begin our new chapter, I wanted to ask that what is the first act or action that both the teacher and the student of the Quran that they need to do before they engage with the Quran itself? Alright, so staying A'udhu Billah. Okay. Huh? Having wudu? MashaAllah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. That even though they were only commanded to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with ikhlas, مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. So that's the mindset that we have before we do any action, whether it's in regards to the deen, quote unquote, or for the dunya, is to have that proper mindset, the Muslim mindset. And that's going to tell a lot how much reward that individual will receive at the end. Because yes, you will get reward for the deed that you do itself, but there are times where you make a niyyah, you make an intention to do something, and it might be a very good deed, but you never come around to actually doing the deed. But you spent the time and the effort and the energy to think it through, that I want to do this action. So what's the benefit of that? There is a benefit. There is a benefit. We might not see it in like a scale 1, 2, 3. You might not see it in a balance. But the Prophet ﷺ, he said that a man is protected only to the degree of his intention. The man is protected only to the degree of his intention. So if his intention is a real cheap, one of those fake inshallahs that people do, then the deed is not going to be very well protected. But if the niyyah, if the intention is very strong, and in the back of their head they know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only person that can allow this action to be fulfilled, and even if that action is not fulfilled, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward that person for it. And majority of the time that action will be fulfilled as well. But the Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِنَّمَا يُعْطَى النَّاسُ عَلَى نِيَّاتِهِمْ. That individuals, they are given not according to their actions. Not according to their actions. They are given according to their intentions. People are given reward according to their, not to say a'mal, it said niyatihim. You didn't even do the amal yet. You didn't even do the action yet. They're going to be rewarded according to their niyyah. According to their niyyah. That's why we always say that hadith that everybody always knows, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, because the amal is pointless and useless if you don't have the niyyah. You're not going to go anywhere. You don't even begin the action if there's no niyyah there, or if the niyyah wasn't adequate. And that's why you see scholar after scholar, hadith after hadith, talk about the importance and having the proper mindset. Imam Qushayri, who has a famous work, Risala al-Qushayriya, he's a very famous Usuli Shafi'i scholar, passed away in 465 after Hijrah. He said that sincerity is to single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in obedience with that full intention. Sincerity is to single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in ita'ah, in obedience with full intention. Meaning, through obedience, a abd, a worshipper of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, desires only to draw near to Allah. There is no ostentation for the sake of other individuals. There is no aspect of gaining praise or wanting to receive praise or to for any other worldly gain. The only purpose, my sole purpose to do this action is to gain closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the intention, mashallah, then you'll be rewarded tenfold. You'll be rewarded. That's why he said that it is correct to say that sincerity is purifying the action from being observed by people. You purify that action from being observed from people. Whether people see you or not, that's not going to change the quality of the deed that you do. MashaAllah, and many individuals who are involved, they are here today, many passed away, who wanted this masjid to come into fruition. Many of them didn't see it. And many of them don't even want their names to be mentioned in the public. But their names are most definitely mentioned in the circles of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the circles with the angels. That is the true mentioning, that's the true praise that you can ever receive. And that's why Hudayfa al-Mar'ashi is a great Sufi scholar. He was a student of Ibrahim ibn Adham. He stated that sincerity is the worshipper's action being identical in what is manifest and what is hidden. Whether you do it, whether it's made public or whether it's hidden, that individual's action doesn't change. He's still going to do it in the same style, in the same fashion. I remember reading a riwayah, a narration. I believe it was Imām Abu Hanifa, that when he would pray tahajjud at night, nobody would be there. Nobody can see him. But it's at that time he would wear his best clothes. He would wear his best clothes at that time. Why? Because he's still praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether you come to the masjid or you're praying at home. But he would wear his best clothes. Because at that point he knew that I'm not wearing this piece of clothing to show to anybody because nobody's there to see it. I'm just wearing it for the sole pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the only reason why I'm wearing this. So we check ourselves. We don't need anybody else to tell us. We check ourselves. That why am I doing this action? What's the true niyyah behind this action? And if maybe the niyyah didn't start off so pure in the beginning, change that niyyah now then. You can always fix it. That's the beauty of our deen. You can always fix things. Just like how we have in our salah, we have a sajda called what? What is it called when you fix a mistake within our prayer? Sajda sahu. Sahu means what? Mistake, right? So we can fix it. There's a possibility of fixing it. No. We have tawbah as well, to fix a mistake that we've done in the past. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us opportunities after opportunities to fix mistakes that we have made. But before we even make the mistake, let's clarify that intention. Let's clean that intention up. That's why the great Irani scholar Sahal al-Tusturi, who passed away 283, he stated that the astute have looked into the meaning of sincerity, and they have found that none other than this, which is that one's motion, one's stillness in what is secret and what is public be solely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He mixes nothing with it, not ego, no desires of the world. It's 100% for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what you call sincerity. And that's what we strive to have, every single one of us. That's why the teacher, when they're teaching Quran, they have to make that niyyah that I'm not teaching this for any worldly objective or any worldly fame or any wealth. That's not the purpose of it. No. The purpose is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. Whether I have 100 famous students or 200 individuals who nobody even knows their names. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Man kana yuridu al-ajilata ajjalna lahu fiha ma nasha'u liman nurid, thumma ja'alna lahu jahannam yaslaha madmuman madhura." That whoever desires al-ajila, whoever desires this fleeting world, they want this world, they want the dunya and the dunya alone. Ajjalna lahu fiha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we'll give it to them. They want the dunya, we'll give them the dunya. Ajjalna lahu fiha ma nasha'u liman nurid. Okay. ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَا لَهُ جَهَنَّمْ. Then after that, what are we going to give them? Then they're going to get Jahannam too. No, then they're going to get Jahannam as well. Completely rejected, completely, disgraced. However, وَمَنْ أَرَادَ الْآخِرَةَ وَسَعَى لَهَا سَعْيَهَا وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ فَأُولَٰئِكَ كَانَ سَعْيُهُمْ مَشْكُورًا. But the individual who desires the akhirah, their true niyyah is the akhirah, and they strive accordingly, that is the individual who is a true believer. And they will be كَانَ سَعْيُهُمْ مَشْكُورًا. Their sa'i, their striving that they did, that's going to be praised. That's going to be appreciated by whom? This is by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not some human being who might be happy with you one day and might be angry with you the next day. Sa'yuhum mashkura. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says good job to you, it's game over. We don't need anything else, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says you did a great job. That's it. That's it. No, we don't need anything else. من كان يريد حرث الآخرة نزد له في حرثه ومن كان يريد حرث الدنيا نؤته منها وما له في الآخرة من نصيب. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whoever desires the harvest of the akhirah, نزد له في حرثه, then we're going to increase in their harvest. ومن كان يريد حرث الدنيا, whoever desires the harvest of the dunya, نؤته منها, we're only going to give them the harvest of the dunya. وما له في الآخرة من نصيب, they're going to have no harvest, they're going to have no reward, they're going to have no portion in the akhirah. Nothing. You wanted the dunya, we'll give you the dunya. You want the akhirah, we're going to give you the akhirah. And as far as the dunya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will serve it to you in a gold platter. You're not chasing after it, so you're going to be served that as well. Now don't think you'll be dhaleel in the dunya. That's never going to be the case. I remember one time I was trying to motivate and encourage our youth and to study the deen. And a brother came up to me, well-intentioned brother, well-intentioned. He said that, I really want my son to study the deen and be associated with scholars, but I just worry about, is he gonna have enough money for a job and to support his family? I was like, do you see any scholar, any hafiz, any individual that's associated with the deen going out there and begging, even though they might not have quote unquote money that you might consider to be a lot, but do you see them going out and begging? Do you see them sitting out and saying, I don't have enough money? يريد حرث الآخرة نزد له في حرث. Now you want the akhirah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give you the akhirah. You want the dunya, and we already know how the dunya works, right? We see how athletes, they sign these deals every year, 100 million, 200 million, 300 million. And you might think, oh, that's enough, right? That's enough. They're not going to want more. But then they finish that one deal, they're like, oh, I want even more. I want 500 million. Wow, what are you going to do with 500 million? What are you going to do? That's just how insan is created. We see a valley of gold, as the Prophet ﷺ said. We see a valley of gold, we're going to want a second valley of gold. We see a second valley of gold, we want a third valley of gold. It's never ending. That's never ending. You want sakina in your heart? You strive for the dunya. You strive for the deen. You want sakina in the heart. You strive for the deen. And that's why we see hadith after hadith. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he states that whoever learns knowledge by which one customarily seeks the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Most High, but learns it to obtain one of the world's riches, then if that's his niyyah, to get some type of status and fame or money in the dunya, they're not going to even smell the scent of Jannah on the Day of Judgment. Not going to even smell the scent. Forget going to Jannah, you're not going to even smell it. Not even smelling it. And then he said in another hadith, and I'll wrap up with this. Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith that whoever seeks knowledge so he can debate fools or vie with scholars or attract attention to himself, مَقْعَدُهُ مِنَ النَّارِ. Not only is he not going to get to Jannah, his place is a hellfire. His place is a hellfire. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to check ourselves every day, before every action. Not just before, during every action. Not just during, after every action as well. So before every action, during every action, after every action, we check ourselves. We check our intention. What level of sincerity do we have? سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين.